Hello lovely viewers and welcome to Zone Tech. In this video, we're going to dive into a virtual machine encapsulation and virtual machine disk in detailed virtual machine encapsulation. A virtual machine, VM, in VMware vSphere, as well as in other virtualization platforms, is essentially a set of files that encapsulate the entire VM environment. These files are collectively responsible for defining the VM's configuration, operating system, applications, and data. Here's an overview of the key files that make up a virtual machine. Virtual machine file extension, VM configuration file, VMX. The VM configuration file is a plain text file that contains all the virtual hardware, such as the number of CPUs, memory allocation, network configurations, and more. Virtual disk files, .vmdk. Virtual disk files contain the virtual hard drives for the VM. VM swap files, .vswp. VM swap files are used when a VM's memory exceeds the allocated physical memory, RAM. Snapshot files, .vmsd, .vmsn, vmsr. When snapshots are taken of a VM, a set of snapshot files is created, shot. Log files, .log. Log files record events and activities related to the VM. VM metadata files, George, NVRAM, VMXF, VMSS. These files store metadata about the VM, such as the BIOS settings, virtual machine configuration settings, and saved state information for suspended VMs. All of these files are typically stored in a directory on the VM's data store or storage device. Virtual machine disk. In VMware vSphere, there are different disk provisioning types that you can choose when creating or configuring virtual machine VM disks. These provisioning types determine how storage space is allocated and used for a VM's virtual disk. The three primary disk provisioning types are thin provisioning. In thin provisioning, storage space is allocated on demand, suitable for most VMs, especially when storage capacity is a concern. It optimizes storage utilization, but may impact performance during the initial disk expansion. Thick provisioning, lazy zeroed. In thick provisioning with lazy zeroed, the entire storage space for the virtual disk is allocated upfront but remains empty. Thick provisioning, eager zeroed. In thick provisioning with eager zeroed, the entire storage space for the virtual disk is allocated upfront and the space is immediately zeroed out, initialized during the provisioning process. This results in the highest level of performance when writing to the disk. Virtual machine disk mode types independent, persistent. In this mode, the virtual disk operates independently and its changes persist across power cycles and reverts. It's commonly used for VMs running databases or applications where changes need to be retained. Independent, non-persistent. In this mode, the virtual disk operates independently, but changes made to the disk do not persist across power cycles or reverts. It's often used in VDI environments or for kiosk-type systems. Dependent. A dependent virtual disk is associated with the snapshot of a VM. The disk's contents depend on the state of the VM's snapshot to which it is linked. Persistent. A persistent virtual disk is a regular virtual disk that operates in the standard way. This mode is appropriate for most general-purpose VMs. Thank you again for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next video. Please consider subscribing to our channel by clicking that subscribe button below.